So Steve, so go back in time, give us a little bit of an intro to kind of your journey to Biola.
Mhm.
For those who listening from around the world, Biola is a major Christian university based in California. It's been around, Steve, you can tell us it's been a long, long time. A lot of wonderful teachers, a lot of wonderful graduates over the years. You guys could check it out, biola.edu. You can learn more about it. But Steve, how did you get there? What led you to start teaching business? And obviously, I'm going to very quickly go into where did you discover business's mission? Because you've been
Mm.
a major voice in the movement for several decades now. So give us just a little background, and I want to get to your thinking about what's going on today. So we're going to get there pretty
Mm.
quickly.
Uh, Boy, where would I want to start this? I joined the Marine Corps out of high school, uh, and just I didn't put any research into it. They offered me a bonus of $2,500 if I would sign up for artillery. So I learned how to shoot cannons for 6.5 years. Uh, and then after that, planted roots in California and started working in a trucking industry, not as a driver, but I was managing and ultimately managing three different companies before I realized that I'm stuck. I didn't have a college degree and all I had was artillery experience.
It
So
comes in handy if you need it, right?
yeah, yeah, 4th of July might help. But so my wife and I prayed about it and decided, I should probably get a college degree. So for me, that meant starting from scratch, the very beginning. And we were involved in our church, very active evangelical church with it had maybe about 40 different missionary units, between families and individuals and we were doing all the usual things, short-term mission trips and putting together events when they get in town and uh, mission conferences. Do you remember ACMC?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, what boy do I ever miss those. That was really unfortunate that they had to pull the plug eventually. But yeah, what was it like twice a year they would hold a big missions event regional, so
Yeah.
probably hold
Yeah.
them all over the place. But uh, I started encountering people who were uh, doing business, dabbling in business, and in my I first started studying business, but then I fell in love with economics. So uh, I was an econ major, but I was still very interested in these business, and especially because they were very quick to say we're not in it for the money. And we're not, in fact, we're not even trying to make money. And this really puzzled me. And it's like, well, who are the investors behind these things?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. And so I started to really get pulled in with that. And part of it was the whole 007 intrigue of, they're not allowed in these countries. And
Mhm.
so they're spies and they're, doing this undercover work. And Um, at first I thought that was going to be God's call for me, was to help these people, try to figure out business. And usually by the time I encountered them, it, it was a mess already.
It was too
You know.
late. Well,
Yeah.
and just to, think about it, those early days when people were using, we called it business as Visa, right?
Hmm.
They had a business, and as you say, it really wasn't a real business. I mean, kind of, but not really. And it was really an excuse to try to be somewhere legally that they couldn't be. You said 007. I started laughing because I used to call it James Bond for Jesus,
Hmm.
and as if the locals didn't understand, as if they didn't know
Yeah.
what was going on, and they did the whole time.
Yeah.
But later real business started emerging. So but
Hmm.
you're right. That was some of the early days of we want to
Yeah,
go
it
to
really was.
wherever. Yeah.
So eventually, my wife and I prayed again, talked to a lot of friends, and got counseled into going to graduate school. Decided to go ahead and pursue a PhD in economics. And by the time, well, my work in economics was a study of biotechnology partnerships, and you wouldn't think there's any connection at all with BAM. These people that come up with an idea for some sort of a cure, either a technique or a molecule or something they want to test, and it takes typically years and years and goes through lots of trials, and most of them, the vast majority of them, fail. So
Hmm.
my dissertation took a close look at how the funding works for that, and usually it's a big pharma company that comes along and either buys them out outright or helps finance the testing stages. And uh but anyway, I was asking these same questions about these businesses. Who's funding these? You're admitting you don't care about
Yeah.
the and at the time there weren't any venture capital funds in this space at all. It was angel investors really, and
Sure.
just kind-hearted people who had the means to be able to loan or just give them money to start these enterprises. But uh, by the time I graduated with the PhD, we decided we needed to go, do a nice expensive vacation. So we went to Turkey and visited three different parts of the country. We visited about 20 or so different uh, BAMers of various stripes, and a lot of them of the what did you call it? Visa for Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, you go in there, there's a call it a strip mall for lack of a better term, but they have a unit in there that they're renting, and there's a phone, there's a desk, there's a file cabinet, but there's no business happening here. They're
Hmm.
just having tea with their neighbor, building relationships with their
Right.
neighbors, and it was the just strangest thing. I thought maybe I was getting a bad sampling, that the people I was talking to were just the basket cases or something. But it turned out this was widespread, and they were just like, we don't know how to do this right. We're not even being encouraged to do it right. Our leaders in the mission agencies are telling us don't put too much time in that. We're discouraging them.
Hmm.
So that was a real eye-opening trip. Um, and very first publication came out of that, a paper called the Schizophrenic uh, Tent Maker. I don't know if you've ever saw that.
I didn't, but what a beautiful
Uh,
title. How descriptive,
yeah,
because that's
yeah,
exactly
yeah.
right. And living in
Hmm.
two
Or
separate
just,
worlds at the same
hmm
time.
yeah, yeah. The EMQ, Evangelical Missions Quarterly, back
Hmm.
in the late '90s, very first publication. But and that started getting a lot of attention, and I started going to. Well, I should mention, do a shout out for Dwight Nordstrom. I met Dwight, who
Yes.
complete opposite mindset. Here's a guy who's starting factories. I mean, just God has equipped him uniquely to not only do business but Chinese. Do it in Chinese. By the time China opened to the Western world, he was fully prepared to
Yeah.
go there,
Yeah.
and he's doing real business. And so that's, in fact, he was the one using the term Great Commission companies, the
Ah,
term
okay.
white. Yeah.
Okay.
And my co-author and I disagreed. I wanted to call the book Business as Mission. This was right around 2000 or so. And that there were other labels going around at the time. But
There's no
but
shortage of labels, that's for
yeah,
sure.
and even now. But I liked Business as Mission, and he did not, and so we settled on Great Commission Companies as the name of the book, uh, and yeah, so and that turned out to be the first book on this that had both theory and application. Some cases, including a Dwight story is in there.
So just a quick comment on that for our listeners' sake. Keep me honest on this, Steve. So I read Great Commission Companies right after it came out, the first version, the first edition of it, and it is guys, if you haven't read it, get it and read it. It's an excellent work. It's scholastically sound. It is, technically accurate. It's real business, real mission, and it's not just theory or theology. It's stories. It is, case studies of this company and that company and all over the world. I mean, in Israel, in other places, and the impact. I mean, we're talking some great companies and great kingdom impact at the same time. And then you did at least one other edition of it. It was about,
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or so.
Yeah, 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the second edition. Did some updates of the old cases and added some new ones.
Yeah. It for me, it's one of the textbooks for the movement because it is based on, good research, good writing, real stuff. And, there's theory in it, but it's theory applied. First of all, kudos to you, Steve, and to your co-author. It's really one of my favorites. I love it, and I recommend it everywhere I go. So for those of you who have not read it, I guess you can get it just about anywhere. Amazon's where I got
Yeah.
it. It's out there. Great
Yeah.
commission companies, and get it, read it. If you haven't, you'll learn a lot.